The ground of possibility, why possible worlds fail and what grounds modality. What makes something possible, what makes something necessary, and why are some things not just unrealized but excluded? For decades, the dominant answer in analytic philosophy has been possible worlds. On this view, a proposition is possible if it is true in some world, necessary if true in all, and impossible if true in none. The framework promises clarity, precision, and a unified semantics. This book argues that it does not deliver. The ground of possibility presents a comprehensive critique of modal realism and its alternatives, showing that none of them explain modality. They relocate it, redescribe it, or presuppose it. Appeals to worlds, truthmakers, abstract structures, or descriptive bases fail to answer the fundamental question: what determines admissibility in the first place? At the center of the problem is explanation. If modal claims are true in a realist sense, they require grounding. Without grounding, modality becomes brute, arbitrary, unexplained, and ultimately unintelligible. This work develops the first sustained argument that modal realism fails not at the level of ontology, but at the level of explanatory authority. It shows why truthmakers are insufficient, why reduction cannot succeed, and why anti-realist strategies undermine the very practices they rely on. In place of these approaches, the book advances a rigorous alternative, a grounding-based account of modality structured through jurisdictionalism. On this view, modal reality is not a flat distribution of worlds, but a hierarchy of constraint, an ordered structure in which possibility, necessity, and impossibility are determined by intelligible authority rather than descriptive arrangement. The result is a unified account of modality that restores necessity as real constraint, possibility as admissibility, and impossibility as principled exclusion. It integrates explanation, logical structure, and metaphysical grounding into a coherent whole. This is not a refinement of existing theories. It is a reorientation of modal metaphysics around the question of grounding. For readers in analytic metaphysics, philosophy of logic, and the foundations of explanation, the ground of possibility issues a clear challenge. What makes something possible and not merely imaginable? What makes something necessary and not merely frequent? And what makes something impossible, not just absent, but excluded from reality itself? For decades, philosophers have answered these questions by appealing to possible worlds. But what if that answer never actually explained anything? In the ground of possibility, S&C Sales delivers a sustained and uncompromising critique of modal realism and its alternatives. Possible worlds, truthmakers, abstract structures, and descriptive frameworks all promise to explain modality. This book shows that they do not. They relocate it, encode it, or assume it, but they never ground it. At stake is more than a technical dispute. If modality is not grounded, then necessity becomes arbitrary, possibility becomes indeterminate, and explanation collapses into description. This work argues that modal reality is not a distribution of worlds, but a structure of constraint. It develops a rigorous alternative in which possibility, necessity, and impossibility are grounded in an ordered hierarchy of authority, restoring intelligibility to the foundations of logic, science, and metaphysics. This is not a refinement of existing theories. It is a reorientation of modal metaphysics around the question that cannot be avoided. What makes the possible possible?